Hello YouTube and welcome to the next video in the route learning series for Train Simulator and also the fourth video for the South London network route. Today we'll be taking a class 455 from West Croydon to London Bridge. This is a distance of just over 12 miles and we'll be calling at Selhurst, Thornton Heath, Norbury, Streatham Common, Streatham, Tulse Hill, North Dulwich, East Dulwich, Peckham Rye, Queens Road Peckham, South Bermondsey and London Bridge. Just to have a quick look around the cab of the Class 455 as we've already looked at in a previous video. One of the first things I like to do is open both windows as you can hear the train better and it's nice to hear the noise of the wind rushing past. Put the train into forward and cancel the AWS self-test sequence. We have in here a West Code 3-step brake, so with the release position, position 1, position 2, step 3 which is full service and finally emergency. And we also have a 4-step power controller which is on the right just here. With the brake gauge which is next to the speedometer on the left, it's the needle on the right which denotes how hard the brakes are applied. The higher the needle, the harder the brakes are actually applied, and if the needle is at a right angle as it is now, that means the brakes are in the full service position. Departing from West Croydon, the starting speed limit is 15 miles per hour, and we've got about 1¼ miles to go to the next stop, which is Selhurst. As we reach 15 miles per hour, I'm going to shut off power and let the train coast. The speed limit will shortly be going up to 60 miles per hour. The point at which we can accelerate further is just before the buffers coming up on the left. So as we reach about this point here, I'm now going to go up into full power. We now have a warning for a speed reduction to 20 miles per hour. I'm going to shut off power here. And you can see the board coming up just ahead. I'm now going to apply the brakes into step 2, which should slow us down about right. We're about to cross over a set of points where the speed limit is 15 miles per hour as we turn on towards the Brighton main line. So I'm now going to once again apply the brakes, just down to step 1. And as you can see, we're now at the 15 mile per hour speed limit. As we go around this curve to the left, we're climbing at 1 in 61. So I've applied step 1 power, and now I've had to shut off again as we got to 15. And as we slow down towards 10, I'll then reapply power. Now back up to 15, I'm having to shut off power once again. And the gradient levels out just at these points just ahead. And then we can briefly accelerate to 20 miles per hour before stopping at Selhurst. So we can accelerate up to 20 as the third rail ahead swaps onto the left. You can see it's now swapping from the right to the left. So we'll now accelerate up to 20 miles per hour and then shut off power. Here at Selhurst, the 4-car stop sign is just at the end of the canopy on the platform. So I'm now braking for the stop. You can see the 4-car stop sign just coming up. Arrival at Selhurst. Departing Selhurst, the starting speed limit is 40 miles per hour, and we've got about 3/4 of a mile to go to the next stop, which is Thornton Heath. As you can see, we're now entering the next speed zone for a speed limit of 60 miles per hour. We now have a warning for a speed reduction down to 45 miles per hour, which is just before the station at Thornton Heath. So as we reach 45, I'm going to shut off power. And we're going to brake step 2 at the rear of the Morpeth board on the Brighton Down Main. So you can see the rear of the board now, just on the left. So now we're going to brake into step 2. And that should slow us down about right. Once again at Thornton Heath, the 4-car stop sign is near the end of the canopy on the platform. You can see the 4-car stop sign just coming up. Just release the brakes to step 1 now. I'll just release them completely back into step 1 and we should be stopped about right. Departing from Thornton Heath, the starting speed limit is 45 miles per hour, though it quickly goes back up to 60. And we've got about 1¼ miles to go to the next stop, which is Norbury. As we reach 55 miles per hour, I'm now going to shut off power. And we're going to brake for Norbury just after the next signal coming up. Now that we've passed the signal, I'm making a step 2 brake application, which should slow us down about right for the platform at Norbury. I've had to release the braking slightly as we're slowing down slightly too early. The stopping point here at Norbury is right at the end of the platform. Departing Norbury, the starting speed limit is 60 miles per hour, and we've got just under a mile to go to the next stop, which is Streatham Common. As we reach 50 miles per hour, I'm shutting off power to let the train coast. And you can see Streatham Common Station just coming up. As we can see the platform, I'm now making a step 3 brake application. And the stopping point here is about 2/3 of the way up the platform. Just as we were entering the platform at Streatham Common, the speed limit dropped to 45 miles per hour. So that is the speed limit here. However, we're just about to turn off the Brighton main line at this junction just ahead, and the speed limit around here is 15 miles per hour. So as we reach 15, I'm shutting off power to let the train coast. Though as we get further around this sharp curve, the gradient will go up quite steeply, and we will then need to use power to maintain speed. The next stop is Streatham, and it's just over half a mile from Streatham Common to Streatham. You can see we're now entering a steep climb. I've given us a step 1 power increase, though we have reached 15 quickly, so I've shut off. I've now reapplied power once again. I mean, you may find that we actually start to lose speed up here. The gradient up here is as steep as 1 in 28, which is very steep for a train. As the gradient levels off, our speed will slowly start crawling back up to 15 miles per hour. As it does, once we reach 15, again we need to shut off power and coast. There is no clear forecast stop marker here at Streatham, so we're going to try and aim to stop along the platform shortly after this shelter here. Departing Streatham, the starting speed limit is 60 miles per hour, and we've got about 1.5 miles to go to the next stop, which is Tulse Hill. We now have a warning for a speed reduction to 45 miles per hour, which is just at the other end of this tunnel here. So I'm now shutting off power. And you can see the end of the tunnel just coming up. So I'm just going to make a step 1 brake application to ensure that we're down to 45 in time. And just after the tunnel coming away from here, we actually start descending on a downward gradient of 1 in 100. So watch your speed just to be careful that the train doesn't run away with you a bit. If we reach back up to 45, I'll apply slight braking once again to ensure that we don't exceed the speed limit. We now have a warning for a speed reduction to 20 miles per hour, however that is for trains turning left. So the speed limit here remains 45. Applying the brakes at the 20 warning board will slow us down nicely for Tulse Hill. There's no clear stop marker here at Tulse Hill once again, so we have to stop close to the end of the platform. About 3 lampposts away from the end. Now you can see 3 lampposts at the end of the platform. They usually stop around here. Just before the platform at Tulse Hill, the speed limit went up to 60 miles per hour, so the starting speed limit here is 60, and we've got about 1¼ miles to go to the next stop, which is North Dulwich. Going to shut off power as we reach 55 miles per hour and let the train coast. So as we continue along this viaduct here, the braking point for North Dulwich will be on the next AWS ramp, where we'll brake straight up to step 2. Now we've crossed the AWS ramp and going into step 2 braking, which should slow us down nicely for the platform. Here we need to stop at the 4-car stop sign. The AWS was for a warning for a speed reduction to 35 miles per hour just before our next stop. Departing from North Dulwich, the starting speed limit is still 60 miles per hour, but we have just under ½ a mile to go to the next stop, which is East Dulwich, and the speed limit drops to 35 miles per hour just before we enter the platform. As we reach 35 miles per hour, I'm now going to shut off power, and you can see the station just ahead. I've initially used a step 3 brake application to bring the speed down, and now going down to step 2. Again, there's no clear stop marker here. So I'm going to stop by this collection of 3 shelters you can see just coming up on the left, which seem to me a fairly realistic place to stop the train. Departing from East Dulwich, the starting speed limit is 35 miles per hour, and we've got around 3/4 of a mile to go to the next stop, which is Peckham Rye. As we reach around 31 or 32 miles per hour, I'm shutting off power because we're actually descending on a gradient of 1 in 100. So you can see our speed is slowly creeping up. We now have a warning for a speed drop to 20 miles per hour. As we pass the board, I'm going to brake step 2. And that should slow us down about right for the limit. We're now entering the 20 mile per hour speed limit. The stopping point here at Peckham Rye is right at the other end of the platform. Departing from Peckham Rye, the starting speed limit is still 20 miles per hour, though it quickly goes up to 60. And we've got around 3/4 of a mile to go to the next stop, which is Queen's Road, Peckham. We can ensure that the back of the train has passed the board and cleared up to 60 miles per hour once we're going over these facing points just ahead. Now we've crossed the facing points and now going to accelerate up to the 60 mile per hour speed limit. As we approach around 43 miles per hour, I'm going to shut off power. Our stop is just at the end of this left-hand curve. And I'm going to use this narrow bridge here that we're just crossing as the braking point. You can see the platform just coming up. We need to stop about halfway along the platform here. Just applied step 3 braking just to bring a bit more speed off. And now back down to step 2. On departure from Queen's Road, Peckham, the starting speed limit is 60 miles per hour, and we've got around a mile to go to the next stop, which is South Bermondsey. The line now turning off to the right is the London Overground line towards Canada Water. And take note that this is now the first signal after the junction, because our braking point for South Bermondsey will be the second signal after the junction. Now that we're doing just over 50 miles per hour, I've shut off power to let the train coast. As you can see, we're now approaching the second signal. As we pass that signal, I'm now going to apply the brakes for South Bermondsey. The stopping point here at South Bermondsey is right at the end of the platform. The warning that we just had a minute ago was a warning for a speed reduction to 45 miles per hour, which happens straight after we depart from here. In fact, you can see the 45 board just coming up now. Departing from South Bermondsey, the starting speed limit is 45 miles per hour, though it quickly returns back up to 60 miles per hour. And we've got about 1 3/4 miles to go to the final stop, which is London Bridge. As you can see, we're now passing a 60 mile per hour speed board, so the speed limit is now back up to 60, and we should be able to get to that before we arrive at London Bridge. As we reach 60 miles per hour, I've now shut off power to let the train coast. We do have a warning for a speed reduction down to 20 miles per hour coming up. I'm going to brake at this signal just here after the warning, so we should slow down nicely for the 20 mile per hour speed limit. We have a double yellow signal here because we are approaching the end of the line. The 20 mile per hour speed limit itself is actually at the next signal, which is the single yellow. The 14 above the signal indicates that we're cleared into platform 14 at London Bridge. Now going to coast at 20 miles per hour towards the platform, and then slow to 10 miles per hour as we enter the platform. Here we are, arrival at London Bridge. Thanks for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video.